Welcome back to another episode of the Carbon Cardboard Podcast covering the Formula One card hobby. I'm your host, Bryan, Q3 Cards, joined as always with my good friend Scott from the P1 Castle.
Finest, baby.
Finest. Is this product of the year, Scott? It's not clickbaity enough, is it?
Yeah, I don't know. It will be for some people, for sure. There's definitely a lot of folks that are really, really excited about it. It's definitely card quality of the year, for sure. I can say that emphatically. But yeah, it's nice. It's different, very, very different. I think even a step beyond kind of how Paddock Pass was different. It's even further than that. But yeah, it's exciting. Lots of supers flying around, which is good. But yeah, I like opening it. It's fun.
We will get into our in-depth review. I have yet to have any in hand, but obviously you've broke on Fanatics Live for like 10 hours yesterday. So yeah. 10 cases or 9 cases or whatever, something silly you did there. I think you've got a big enough sample size to talk about the product quality at this point.
I think so. I think so. We're gonna have to get some in your hands to see grading wise, but I will say I think it's gonna be good, and that's primarily based on like they're a thick card stock. It actually reminds me of 2020 Chrome without the clipping issue. So it's nice, which is no surprise actually, because they're made in Italy. They're actually manufactured in Italy. So they, fired up those old printing machines they had, and they took off the serial stamper. But yeah, they're really nice, very crisp. I have not seen a bad corner yet, so excited.
Challenge accepted. So we're going to talk about that. Obviously, we are recording this on Friday evening after FP1, FP2 today in Bahrain. By the time this releases in the morning, we'll have already gotten qualifying. So we're going to get in your predictions, your castle calls here. In this episode, we're going to lock it in, suited and booted, as you say. And we teased a little bit last time. We're going to talk a little bit about your new website, p1castle.com. And just it's good to have a hub for everything. I mean, Instagram's been your home for a while, but it's good to have a hub, home. The home of Formula One cards. I will take a 0.0000001% fee every time that term is used. So basically, you give me a penny every like 10 years. That works. All right, let's just dig into it because we both are itching to talk about Finest here. So again, shout out to F1 Ben with the phenomenal cover art. So I'm a huge fan of the name of Ben. That's my son's name. And my son is huge into YouTube shorts of all things. And you and I have been talking. We've been talking with F1 Ben. We're like, we've got to get little snippet short form videos out there. So thanks to StreamYard and the AI ability they have, they can make little clips. So we tried it out. We've tried it on Instagram, didn't really get a ton of traction, but we're going to try it on YouTube, see how it goes. I mean, most of the videos, Scott, have already outperformed most of our long form episodes. So
shorts, man, people, they're bite size,
short attention spans. That's what right. People have. Maybe our collectors have it, the 30 to 50 listeners or viewers that we've got here. So
that's right. I mean, StreamYard, here we go. Here's your clip. Topps Finest is the product of the year for Formula One cards. There you go. 5 seconds short. Let's do it.
Yep.
Book it.
That might actually get booked. And if that does show up in one of the clips, I'm going to owe you $5.
I hope it has the "Here you go" StreamYard at the beginning of it.
Anyway, so where I was going with this is my son I was showing him our channel, and I was showing him where the shorts were, and he was looking at some of our old cover art and then what we've done recently. He goes, wow, that stuff looks like professional. And I'm like, well, there is a professional doing it now instead. And I showed him the ones that I used to do. It's like, ugh. Nothing more honest than a 13-year-old.
There you go.
Scott, so we had teed it up a little bit already. You had the 10-hour stream yesterday on Fanatics Live, opened 10 cases, really good sample size. Talk us through, before we look at some of the cards, what's in the case, what's in a box, how many packs, just like all the details, and then like what were you what should somebody expect to see when they open any of those things?
Sure. So, I mean, quick and dirty, basically, each case is going to have 8 boxes. Each box has 6 packs. Inside a pack, you're opening up, you're going to get, a bunch of common cards, right? Because there's split between rare, uncommon, and common. Actually reminds me of like a Pokemon pack, right? You're going to get, 7, 8, common, and then a couple uncommon or rare. And now interspersed through all this, you might get some parallels, and there's tons of different parallels, and the parallels are actually different serial numbers based on whether they're common, uncommon, or rare. For instance, blue is the most common parallel. If you get a blue common, it's out of 200. If you get a blue uncommon, it's out of 150. If you get a blue rare, it is out of 99. And now these cards are based on the base set 1 through 100. So base set 1 through 100 for common, 101 through 200 for uncommon, 201 through 300 for rare. Each one of those has a different image, and the design is different, right? It's a little different. We'll talk through it when we look at some of the cards. But that means that the base set 300 superfractors. So before you even get to inserts, you have 300 superfractors. There are 589 superfractors total in this set. Absolutely insane, but really cool. I mean, this is a chance for folks to own a super, because Paddock Pass had a lot of one of ones, but a lot of their one of ones weren't actually superfractors, right? They were like the foil fractors or gold kind of stuff because it was paper. In this, a lot of people, if superfractor has been on your bucket list to add to your collection, you are going to love this product, and it looks really good. You're also going to get, on average, 2 relics per box. You don't always. Sometimes you'll get 1. Sometimes you actually get 3 in one box. And then it looks like about 2 autos per case, which I'm pleasantly surprised by, because I thought it was going to be closer to 1. So it's about 2 autos per case, usually maybe like 14 or so relics per case. So lots of relics, and a couple autos. Really fun.
Everything that I've seen, as we talked about last time, I don't think like the design's going to be for everybody, but man, it just looks really sharp. It almost kind of reminds me of like watercolor type like
Yeah.
backgrounds. It's just
Splashy.
the splashy. The drivers kind of really pop against it, and for some reason, it just really works with Formula One. It was funny. One of the breakers that I was watching earlier today, while I was, air quotes, working, kept referring to it like as an oil spill or something. I was like, it kind of, I don't think that's what they were going for, but it kind of works a little bit.
Well, what's funny is that ironically, in baseball, there's an oil spill parallel. There's actually like they call it oil spill. And then you get to Formula One and they're like, oh, no, we don't want that because we don't spill oil. I actually think they took out the name oil spill, and that because Formula One didn't want the name oil spill in the product. That's tinfoil hat on here. That's not even a NDA. That's just tinfoil hat. I honestly think they didn't want the name oil spill in there with their whole, carbon neutral 50/50, 2050, whatever they're talking about.
Yep. All right. Before we start looking at the cards, I've got to give a quick shout out to our friend AJ with Hammer Time Hits. Excuse me. Sorry, AJ. Just had his first stream on Whatnot. Literally, not even. He's still going right now, probably. And
Legend.
kudos to him. What a legend. Getting started. Looks like he's having the time of his life. And what a great guy. Good part of the Formula One hobby. Little trivia nugget. Q3 Cards had the first purchase at
Oh,
Hammer Time Hits. Stake F1 in the 1-box random team break. Pretty
love it.
cool stuff. Anyways, AJ's going to kill it. So if you're not following Hammer Time Hits on Instagram and whatnot, go give him a follow. He's a great guy. All right, Scott, let's just walk through some of like what we're seeing here on screen. Obviously, these are hits that you hit yesterday. So you've not only seen these, you pulled these.
Yeah. So we've got quite a few up here, but the first one we're taking a look at, this is a Nico Hulkenberg Race Day Relics out of 5. So it's going to be red out of 5. Nice little patch here, getting a couple colors in there. But yeah, Nico Hulkenberg was everywhere. Honestly, I pulled so much Haas. It was crazy how much Haas we pulled. The amount of Hulkenbergs that I pulled, and K-Mags was pretty crazy. But yeah, so beautiful. There's a lot of different relics. This one is the Race Day relic. Not necessarily my favorite, but it's cool. It's got kind of, a track in the background, right? Like a track grid, and an interesting design. So yeah, this was a fun one. Then this was definitely one of my favorite cards we pulled. So this was a track attack relic of Max Verstappen, and we got the Rouch patch here on the orange or the yellow with the nice red and green. It's a beauty to behold. It really pops. But yeah, that was a big Max that we pulled out of 5 again.
It's really cool to see just like what they did in Paddock Pass with the car relics, essentially,
Yep.
getting a different look at I mean, the cars are a huge component of the
Oh yeah,
sport. I mean, we love to collect the portraits, but that is a big component of it.
for sure. Oh, so this is actually my favorite type of relic. And so this is just the standard finest relic, right? It's not the finest formulas, it's not any of the other ones, it's just finest relic. Um I love the design, and this one, Lewis Hamilton, red out of 5, so it's got his Ferrari colors, and it's got the multicolor patch on it with the teal from Petronas, from his Mercedes suit. Yeah, this may have been my most aesthetically pleasing card I pulled the entire time. Yeah, beautiful card.
How were
And
the how was like the edges and stuff on these? I know that
good.
the relics in Paddock Pass were a little rough, and a lot of them were just chipped on the edges just because of the how the cards are constructed.
Yeah, so like I said, these look really good. And I think part of it is because this is actually the first time ever that we have a chrome based relic, right? Every single other relic, including Dynasty, has been paper, whether it's been from a flagship product, Echelenza product, Paddock Pass, Dynasty, it's all paper. This is chrome, and they're beautiful. And that chrome stock is just so nice, and it seems so rigid and structured. So yeah, I'm hopeful. Obviously, you'll know better than me, and you'll be looking at them with a fine tooth comb, but yeah, from first glance and looking at everything, it all looks solid. So I'm hoping to see some good grades. Love to see a couple PSA 10s.
Just a couple. You doubt my abilities here.
No, thousands.
Yeah.
So this is again, I was surprised by how many autographs there were. This is just the finest autograph, right? So again, the base autograph. This is actually one of my favorite types, but it was Esteban Ocon, red out of 5. This is similar to like the rare. We'll see some of those a little later. I think actually I don't even know if I sent you any images that have the rare, but it's got kind of that oil, spill thing or whatever in the middle. And I like how they made the autograph actually. Because again, this product, finest in its history, if you go back to like basketball, baseball, everything, it's always been like, flashy, splashy kind of product, right? So I love what they did for the space where they put the sticker for the autograph. It kind of, it makes it look like they kind of, brushed it with paint like back and forth a couple times or something, right? I think that's kind of the design rather than just having like, on basically everything else, it's like that clear, just like very obvious, like white spot where it goes. So yeah, no, I really like it. We had an Ocon out of 5, and then we also had a Joe Guan Yu out of 5. Joe Guan Yu, this was actually the first one I pulled, first red auto, went nuts. But yeah, this is it's beautiful. I really like Joe's pose too. He's like pointing to the helmet. And this was my first superfractor. Came in case one, ended up actually being the only one, despite there being 589 superfractors in the product. We pulled one in our first case, and that's it. So hopefully we've got some more coming up. But so this is a Fernando Alonso. This is one of his uncommons, and you can see the uncommon is going to have like kind of the, you know, graphic oily stuff on the bottom left and the top right, whereas the common kind of weaves through it, and then the rare is like a big splash in the middle. But yeah, the superfractors, as ever, look absolutely beautiful, and Alonso rubbing his hands together, staying warm on the super.
This does look really. It seems like, Scott, a lot of the rares had the driver with a helmet.
Yeah.
And that we've talked about it how many times in 45 episodes. I think we're both big fans of helmets in the Formula One drivers.
Yeah.
So anytime the helmet is included in the card, count me in.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I have yet to have any of these in hand, but I'm actually kind of a little bullish on this because of the design, and I think also too, you know, however many times we've said 2020 is just going to be the go-to. I mean, so many collectors are basing their entire collections around that. Um, that's going to be the set that will stand the test of time. However, anytime you get firsts or something new or different, this is the first time that Formula One has done finest. I mean, this could be a set in time that, as long as the QC is as good as you have indicated, and I'm, like I said, once I get some of these in hand, I will be able to back that up. And it's quality's there, QC's there, sharp edges, really vibrant designs. I mean, if, like you said, if the card stock's good, like there's a whole lot of things really going for this. And the fact that there's so many really good F2 drivers that are included in this in
Yeah.
time, that these are going to be the ones that are there. I mean, the interesting thing is there's such a people hang their hat on chrome every year. Just like in, we keep always refer back to baseball, but I mean, they're called baseball cards for a reason. A lot of the times that's what you refer to them, with Topps Chrome being like the go-to Topps flagship baseball. Bowman is the other big one, but Topps Finest has been a brand that Topps has really invested in a lot lately, because I would say even in the last 5 or 6 years, even for a sport like soccer, like Finest was kind of like the in between, like you said, like the chromium. But if they're going to put this, and it's not far off of chrome, and it's going to be more affordable, and you're going to get a lot better stuff in, like relics and the autos, like it's got a chance. And again, is it set of the year? I think it's a little too early to tell that, but it's, like I said, it's got a couple of really good things going for it, that I think we'll see how collectors over the next month or two, as this is the new shiny thing. It's literally been out for a
Sure.
day and a half at this point. So everyone's like, whatever the new thing is what people latch on to. And I have a tendency to do that as well too. But I think this one, actually, I think it does have some staying power.
Yeah. And I mean, it's going to be interesting because the release was, a bit of a shambles, right? And listen, I don't know exactly the intricacies going on here, but potentially some issues, between Formula One and Topps in terms of the release. I don't know, but it wasn't on the Topps website. It still has not been on the Topps website. A lot of LCSs, different places, have said they've struggled to get it. I don't know if this is because, it's coming from Italy. Are they having issues shipping it over here? Does that have anything to do with the tariffs? I really don't know. But when things are more scarce, price generally goes up, right? We saw pre-orders on Blowout and Dave Adams for around 1900, 1850. They're already been boosted all the way up to 2250 and then sold out. So, the product is going. So we'll have to see, because everyone wants to rip it. So it's going to be interesting.
Yeah, my local card shop, ARC cards. Ryan, I talked to him. I'm like, hey Ryan, did you get anything? Because I was gonna drive up and grab some. He goes, I didn't get offered any. So I think also, if the distributors weren't able to get anything and Topps hasn't put it out, this might be one of those, like, it might just show up next week sometime on the Topps website, and just, be alert. I would say if you're here in the United States, 12 Eastern time is usually the go-to, which would put you at 9 a.m. West Coast time. If you're really interested in the product and you wanted to get a box or two to do a Percy yourself, or maybe you want to go for you want to dome a case or something like that, I would be in the habit of probably checking or between either 12 Eastern time or 9 Pacific, and just refresh the Topps website. Maybe it'll be out there, but I don't think we're going to get any kind of an official drop at this point. It's just going to probably show up one of those days next week.
Yeah, I could see that. And I hope it does, because I know a lot of people are really excited about it. And, we've tried to get as much as we can. Replacement cost is getting real high, like I said, with those prices. But yeah, we'll see. We're going to try to be breaking it as long as we can. I actually really think Finest and Chrome together as a mixer works really well, because you end up getting a lot of the autos from Chrome, and then you have the mixture of all the cards there. So we'll probably end up running some of those, maybe a case of each, or a half a case of each. I don't know, we'll figure it out. But yeah, we're gonna try to keep this stocked for a while, because at this point, I mean, we barely have any logo fractor left. We still have a lot of sapphire, plenty of chrome. So yeah, it's nice to add another one to the ranks.
All right. As we said, Bahrain, the race is not that far away from when you're probably listening and watching to this. So, new addition to the confidence pick'em pool here, Scott: tiebreakers.
Yeah, so this is gonna be exciting, and honestly, by the time this actually airs in the morning, you're probably gonna have to have already gotten this in, because you've got to do it an hour before qualifying. But I don't know. Actually, I don't know when exactly the timing is for it. Maybe it's later. Regardless, we have now added, and this is because last week we had 4 people tie actually for first place for the $100 in break credit in the pick'em. And we did a randomizer and did it that way. But I thought it was fun to, when we add another element in here. And so from now on, we're going to have another question, and it's on the Survey Monkey every week, is going to be, you have to predict the pole position lap time. And that will be used as a tiebreaker. So if we have 2 or more folks who tie for the best score from the actual pick'em, whoever is closer, and it's not Price is Right rules, it's just whoever's closer, whether you're above or below, to pole position time, they will win it. And if that is a tie, I'll give everyone who ties in that $100 in break credit. Because if we go to the 1,000th of a second and you have somehow tied in the prediction, then that's insane. So, but yeah, so just another little element there.
Some really interesting matchups this week too, Scott.
Yeah, so we'll run through the matchups here, and for the match, I think I sent them over, but for the matchups, we've got let me see if you can pull them up. Otherwise, I'll pull up. There we go. So we've got Lando Norris going against Esteban Ocon. You'd think slam dunk. You've got Oscar Piastri against Oliver Behrman again. Probably slam dunk. Max Verstappen against George Russell. That should be a really good one. That should be really tight. Yuki Tsunoda and Kimi Antonelli also could be interesting. We've got Charles Leclerc against Alexander Albon. Lewis Hamilton against Carlos Sainz. Gasly against Alonso. Could be really tight. Doohan against Stroll. Could be tight. Hadjar against Hulkenberg. And Lawson against Bortoletto. So, Brian, give me your sleeper pick of the week here.
There's a lot of good matchups. I mean, and obviously, if anybody has not figured this out yet, it's team versus team. There's not too much of a randomization here. So I guess like the Red Bulls against the Mercedes. I don't know. I think the only one that really stands out is all right, I'm going to go with Yuki finishing ahead of Antonelli.
Ooh, okay. Okay.
I think Yuki gets into the points. I mean, we just talked about it on our last grid gainer. Like Antonelli has not stepped a foot wrong, but I mean, we're talking maybe like an 8th place against a 10th place finish or something like that. So I don't know, Scott. What's your out of the park one here?
So, well, I'm gonna talk through something here. There are a couple drivers who have not won a single matchup yet, because I've also been tracking kind of just the stats for the individual drivers, and so far it has been kind of team against team for a while, and I'm going to do that for the first, I think, through like race 11. Basically, I'll do team, and then I'm going to start kind of switching them all up and doing them all random. But at the end of the first 20 races, first 19, every driver will have gone against every other driver. But Lewis Hamilton, Jack Doohan, and Liam Lawson are all 0-3 in their matchups. I think all 3 of them get the dub this week. I think Lawson's going to beat Bortoletto. I think Doohan is going to beat Stroll. And I think Hamilton's going to beat Sainz. So I think we will have no drivers that are winless in their matchups after this week. That's what I'm gonna go with. There's also 3 drivers who are undefeated so far, which we will not be able to have after this, because it's I think Verstappen, Russell, and Albon, I'm pretty sure are the 3. I know it's Albon and Verstappen for sure. I'm pretty sure it's Russell as well. Actually.
Well, while you're making some wild predictions here, Scott, let's get to your castle calls.
It's true. Yeah, so castle calls for this week. I've got pole position, Lando Norris. I think McLaren is going to be very fast. I mean, we saw it in testing. I really expect them to be the class of the field here. And I think Lando has just barely had Oscar's number, and I think he's gonna get it done again. So yeah, I'm going with Lando for pole.
And how about your podium?
Podium, I think Lando, goes from, start to flag, from lights to flag, takes it. I think Oscar comes home second. And I think we actually see a Ferrari on the podium in Charles Leclerc. Ferrari's actually won the last 2 races in Bahrain, 2023 and 2024. I think they figure it out. I know they added a new floor this weekend that they're definitely still trying to come to grips with, but I think Leclerc gets it done, ends up on the podium. And then for the actual castle call,
sorry, I misspoke about it. We haven't used these in a while.
It's fine. For the actual castle call, I think the McLaren duo is going to finish 8+ seconds ahead of third place. I think the McLaren car is going to be phenomenal here. Not only do I think that they're going to 1-2 lock out the first row in qualifying, but I think when it comes to the race, this is a track heavy tire degradation. McLaren is really good on its tires. I think that they absolutely sail off into the distance with their pace. Honestly, I think if they don't finish 8+ seconds ahead of third place, it's because they're just toning it back at the end of the race. I think they could easily finish 20 seconds ahead of the rest of the field if they wanted to. But yeah, I'm going with 8+ for the castle call.
So it'll be a good day for the papaya, is what you're saying.
Yeah, I think so. I think the papaya fans are going to be happy here.
All right. And, we said we would probably have about a 30-minute episode. We're getting close. Whatever we say for time, we just got to double it every time. All right, Scott, I do want to talk to you a little bit about the new website you just launched, p1castle.com. I know we teased it a little bit last time. Let's get into it a little bit more.
Yeah, so it's been a long time coming. It's under its 3rd name. iteration and domain that I've purchased over my time here. I've actually been working on this kind of on the side for about 2+ years, but we finally got it live. P1castle.com is the website. You can go to it. You can see kind of all the cards, or at least the majority of the cards we have listed up on premium consignment. We actually have a form that you can fill out if you're looking to consign cards. You can go in there and you put in kind of your Instagram name or your name, email in general, the cards you have, kind of what price you're looking for, etc. And that comes straight to my email, which is great. And I think I have a slide on here in terms of how to do that, right? And it shows you like the way to submit that form. It's pretty simple. It just asks you a few questions, but you can kind of just go right in there and fill out the form. It'll come directly to me, and then you can use it to kind of browse through the cards that we've got on there for premium consignment. And actually, we made our first sale through the website, and so the website's only been up for about a week or so. We made our first sale through the website just today. So
Congratulations.
yeah, happy about that. Sold a nice big hedge, that card that we actually talked about on the podcast.
The one benefit of not doing a grid gainer this episode, you couldn't talk about any premium consignment cards this year, your grail cards. No, this would be great. We'll have to get something up there to a little info for how people can get their cards prepped and graded with PSA. I know right now we have our stuff on like a Google Doc or something,
Right.
in our bio for the grading account. But this is really cool.
Yeah, and there's a lot of
I love
stuff.
that it's mobile enabled too. That's
Absolutely. Good. Yeah. And shout out to my guy Christian, who helped put everything together. He did a phenomenal job. There's a lot more planned. This is, trust me, I have a bunch of areas of the website that are not open yet. And you can't tell that by looking at it, but there's a lot more coming. I'm not going to talk about it too much until we're actually ready to go live with certain things. But I think it'd be cool to add some stuff about grading. I think also maybe we can put in a little carbon cardboard links on there as well.
Indeed. All right. And finally, Sunday singles are back.
That's right. Yeah. So Sunday singles are going to be extra fun this time because not only do we have a wide variety of cards, we've literally got 2020 Sapphire, we've got 2024 Sapphire, we've got 2024 Finest. We've got some Finest cards that'll be going up for sale on Sunday. But we're also going to be doing some single box 2024 Finest random after team one box breaks as well. So this will be a lot of fun on Sunday. I think we're planning to get started sometime around 6. I got to double check. I know we had some plans on Friday or Sunday. So once we're done with dinner, we'll get locked and loaded in there on Sunday. We can talk about the race and get some singles going and rip some Finest.
I know we didn't show it earlier. I seeing the McLaren. I love the dual patch relic. That looks really cool.
So nice. Yeah, that's going to be up there. We got a Lando Oscar green out of 50 dual patch from Finest.
Very cool. Very cool stuff. And like you said, there's going to be tons and tons of breaks coming up.
Oh yeah.
All the P1 Castle affiliates are going crazy. They're going ham. They got all kinds of breaks and stuff posted. It's we teased it the last time out, the fact that now the last 2024 Formula One product is out. However many months we got until 2025 stuff comes out, I would imagine nothing really before fall. I don't know anything. I'm just guessing, but it'll be a little nice to just kind of enjoy them for a little bit. Like you said, mixers are a ton of fun.
Yeah, mixers are fun. I'm actually at some point, I'm thinking I'm going to do like a all product mixer at some point, even like a box of Dynasty. Like it might even be just like one box of everything, but I think it would be fun to have one box of every single product from 2024. So, you know, you're going to start with Chrome, and then you get, I guess, what came out second? Was it Paddock Pass or was
Paddock.
it
I think it was
Logo?
Paddock.
Yeah,
Logo, then Paddock.
yeah, Logo, Paddock Pass, and then
Sapphire.
Sapphire, Dynasty, Finest, Echelenza. That's 7. Is there anything I'm missing?
Did they do? We don't really cover TurboTax at all on
No,
this,
that's
but
not. That doesn't count.
that doesn't really count.
Maybe
People
I
do,
should. I'll just throw in a box. Why not? Right?
people do grade that stuff. It actually is really hard to grade.
Yeah. Maybe we'll
Especially
throw
most of
some.
it comes in like those big metal tins or whatever.
Oh
But
yeah, the edges, the corners are just absolutely destroyed.
some of them are actually kind of cool. I've had a couple of people send me. There's usually like a special edition. Like again, I know you're a big fan of the country flags. Like
Oh
oftentimes
yeah.
there's like the flag in the background. I've seen one with Hammy and Oscar. Those stuff are pretty cool. But yeah, I don't know. Like just before we go here, Scott, like if you had to pick your favorite set out of all of these so far in 2024, like you had one box to open.
Oh,
So your
that I
last
mean, that's so tough because we're like Finest is brand new. So like right now, if I'm opening a box, like I probably want to do Finest. And it is product of the year, right? I mean, it's on the thumbnail. No, I don't know. Oh man, if you're giving me one box, I'd probably take Sapphire. I just love the helmet collection. And you know, like Dynasty also would be epic, but again, like if it's only one box, oh man, I don't know. If it was a full case, I'd probably pick Dynasty over anything else. But if it's one box, I'd probably go with Sapphire.
it's a really tough call.
The Finest is up there.
Yeah, for me, it has a lot of the elements. I think I would go for it. I
Turbo
love
attacks. You go
I mean,
turbo.
it's
Yeah.
close call between TurboTax, but I'd say it'd be a tough call between at this point probably Finest and me. I'm a sucker for Dynasty. Even if I ended up opening it and it was like
A mic crack 1 of 1.
a might crack 1-on-1 or something, I'd still I wouldn't be happy about it, but it'd be a nice looking card. So
It's true.
all right. Anyways, again, this is going to wrap it up. Again, a little bit of a quicker episode. Again, we're going to start
Yeah.
putting little of these clips out on YouTube Shorts, and hopefully everybody digs that. Appreciate all the likes. I try to answer all the comments when you guys comment on the videos. We really appreciate it. I mean, that helps with the engagement. Again, like, subscribe, smash the whatever. Shout
Yeah.
out. A couple of you given some reviews lately on iTunes. So thank you. That's bumped up our
Ooh,
rating a little bit. I think we're up to like
love that.
11 at this point. So some good stuff. So we'll have another podcast early next week, talk about the race. We'll have some grid gainers to talk about.
That's right.
It'll be a lot of fun.
Yeah, and if you've got questions you want us to answer on the podcast, we might not get to them. This is actually probably like the second podcast of the week is actually probably a really good time to do those. So if you've got questions, feel free to throw them in the YouTube comments, and we'd love to get to them.
All right, sounds good. All right, Scott, my friend, let's bring this one home.
All right, everybody. Well, collect your cardboard, keep it carbon.